Well, happy Tuesday. Today is November 5th, I think. November 5th. Journal number 217, T+217. Lots going on. Exciting day. We got our first review on Amazon, which was an excellent review. So live in harmony wherever you are. Thank you so very much for that. It means a lot. There's a lot going on. I mean, really, the first the first interview is now online, and really enjoyed listening to it. As I mentioned the other day, the other two recorded podcast interviews are going to go online shortly, and that's always exciting. I can't wait to hear what I have to say, which is kind of fun. And I wanted to go ahead and alert you to the fact that there will be a live Auto Vitals digital shop radio broadcast from SEMA, from the Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association show during Automotive Aftermarket Industry Week, which is the huge automotive show in Las Vegas that occurs the first week in November. And I'm going to be interviewed by Tom Dorsey and Auto Vitals Radio tomorrow at 10 a.m. and that'll go on live, and then the recording of that will be available afterward on Auto Vitals digital shop talk radio Facebook page. So that's really exciting, terrifying, really, when you think about when you think about a live interview and all the things that could possibly go wrong, and the abject terror involved in trying to tell your story as powerfully as you can, so that it's compelling and interesting, and creates exposure and awareness and interest and desire in the book, of course, and in a lifetime of experience in the automotive aftermarket as well. And that's really odd. They talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I did a podcast about that, not a podcast, but a blog post about that recently. And it's a very real phenomenon. But it's something that I'm experiencing now, at least to some degree, with regard to the show. You got to appreciate the fact that I started going to APEX, which is the automotive end of Automotive Aftermarket Industry Week. It's the manufacturer and distribution part of the show. SEMA is Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association. In the beginning was considered fuzzy dice and foxtails, and Apex was the serious show for aftermarket professionals. That's kind of flip-flopped a little bit. Apex is still critically important to the automotive aftermarket, but SEMA's really made huge strides in making their show relevant to the repair community, especially over the last number of years, and they've done a really good job doing that. And forced a little bit of a competition there, which is really healthy, is really a good thing, to ensure that shop owners get a chance to go to both shows in order to see what's going on. But I started going to that show probably in 1986, and continued to go to the show up until just a few years ago. The only reason I stopped, obviously, was because of my diagnosis and fear of coming in contact with 35,000 people with runny noses and coughs and colds and viral infections and everything that you can possibly think of, especially when you recognize how vast this show is and how many miles you get to walk every day and still not be able to see everything. So it feels odd not being there, and it's felt odd not being there for the number of years that I haven't been able to go, for a number of different reasons. Not the least of which is that going to both shows is probably the only place that you can go within the repair community, within the aftermarket, where you can get to see all of the people that you never have an opportunity to see other than at the show. It's the only place that most everybody goes, at least for 1 or 2 days in the course of every calendar year. And it was fun. It probably still is fun. I'm looking forward to being able to go back, hopefully next year when I have an immune system, and because I'm sure I'm not going back until I have an immune system. I'd like to go back then, but the thing that was really odd was that there were so many young professional representatives from all these different manufacturing companies and all the different warehouse distribution groups that I got to meet and know and work with over the years. And I watched them as their careers progressed, and they kept moving up the corporate ladder, as it were. And the thing that's odd is it's going to be interesting to go back and see how many of them have retired, how many of them have gone on to leave the industry. But it does feel bizarre. It does feel strange to have the show go on and not be a part of it. For years, the publishing companies that I worked with would bring me out along with a number of other of their editorial contributors to visit with their clients, with their customers, their advertisers, and it worked really well. There was an awful lot that got done at those shows, and a lot of business that got done. Although for years there was a caveat against doing any business on the show floor. That's all changed, I think. I don't know if the same rule applies, but I don't know that the rule is meaningful because I think everybody kind of avoids it. In the meantime, it is the one place that you can go and find all things aftermarket. And between the two shows, between specialty equipment and manufacturing and distribution, everything is there. Everything that you could possibly want, need, or expect from the aftermarket. And it feels odd to know that that's going on without you. I think that we all feel the need to be relevant in whatever it is we do or have done, and knowing that the show's going on, despite the fact that you're not there, sort of chips away at that feeling of relevance on a first-hand basis anyway. So there's a big chunk of me that really is straining to go back to that environment, if for no other reason just to see all the folks that I haven't seen in 5 years. Because I think that's been the number of years since I've been to the show. Since my diagnosis, and now since the transplant. But I hope that that as my recovery progresses, I will be able to go back to the show next year and participate. I kind of look forward to that. But for those of you who have an opportunity tomorrow to go to Facebook and go to AutoVital's digital shop, Talk Radio, you'll find a live interview with me tomorrow, and then the recording of that interview will be available on that page. And I'll provide the link as soon as I figure out how to do that. I don't think there'll be a link to the interview until it actually goes live, and then subsequent to that. In the meantime, stay well, take care. I look forward to being with you all tomorrow. If you get a chance to drop by the Amazon page for Misfire, What to Do When Things Aren't Running on All Cylinders, and you take a look at that 5-star review, read it. It's great. It just made me smile. It made my whole day. So thank you. Live in harmony. Bye-bye.